Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hello. It doesn't have, you know what I mean? It doesn't have. Welcome to the Tresho9 show. We got a special guest. Woo-hoo. Make some noise. Yeah. For Mrs. Agostine in the building. Yes, I gotta pull my show notes here because legit today. But we are a couple, married couple. Say 20 years. Not, we haven't made 20 years yet. 16 years of matrimony. Woohoo! Yes, sir. And, we have come a long way. We have come an extreme long way from matrimony, wedding to baby, 5 babies. One is in heaven, if you will, and 4 are with us. 2 are in California, living the dream on vacation. Not that they're like old enough to. They're not that. So what we're gonna do now is, so we wanted to talk about what about the the vetting, right? Or no.
Know
It was
what you want.
knowing what you want, and having that real conversation. This is gonna get crazy because I do want to look at you. My mic is like, it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't go. I get this works actually. So you can still hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Knowing what you want and then being mature enough to have that conversation with whoever you're trying to get with or whatever that looks like. You're trying to be in a relationship. And even if you've been in a relationship for some time, being able to have those as you grow talks, right? Because 16 years, I think it was even 2 years into it, things changed. I made every mistake that possibly could have been made. Um, and yeah, we grew from that. And we, yeah, we had that hard conversation that one night. And then another hard conversation down the road, but plenty of those conversations. But like, what would you say? How do we get through all that? How in the world did we manage to get through it? Yeah,
I think
you got to talk.
uh, uh,
Yeah,
I think just our commitment to each other. Like, just we knew both of our goals were the same, to stay together, right?
Yeah.
We kind of, we said we never put divorce on the table.
Oh, you can't see. Oh, okay.
We never like threw divorce as like we never threatened that with each other. We always tried not to. A few times, but like that was kind of always our thing.
What do you mean we slipped up? Wait, hold on. Say that again. Slipped up and said it, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Used it as a weapon.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. But
remember I was trying to figure out when it was.
but you know, like our goals have always been to work through it and
Yeah.
make it last, like our relationship last for each other and our kids. Like for both of us, we grew up without fathers,
Yeah.
and it was very important for us to create a family where they had both parents involved. So that was really important to both of us from the very beginning. So I think that even when we were mad, that was always our end goal, to so, and I think both of us are very open to learning and growing and wanting to make the other person happy.
Yeah.
So we would fight, but then, you know, some of our conversations required growth on both of our parts, and we were both willing to do it. So we grew together and grew apart on our own journeys as well as together.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The like this, I don't know if it's skeptical, but the worry that I have had was, am I going to stay just because of the kids? You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because of my fear of separation, and then the kids' separation, am I going to stay? Because I don't want to do that. Yeah. Right. And I don't ever want to do that. Like if we can't be together, then it's yeah, for sure. Like, but if we're able to work it out, then, and I think that's a difference. I think that's a different mindset maybe of like, because I grew up Christian, you were Christian, in that sense of going to church and stuff like that. Not that you grew up that way per se in your home, but you had friends that were like that, and obviously like in religion, some religions there's this, don't, divorce is not an option. Don't get divorced. God hates divorce, and it's permitted, but it's not like we shouldn't do that. But then at the same time, there's people that I know that should.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like,
you should not be with that person at all. You should run from that person.
There are definitely situations where people should not be together.
Yeah.
For sure. So if we ever got to that point, divorce would be on.
Leave me, please, if I get.
We have never gotten to that.
And I think, we are just a, I don't know, we're just a couple. We're just like an average couple, if you will.
Yeah.
And I don't say average in like, well, that's, we're less than somebody else, but water. Hold on. Keep talking. There's the notes. Go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I think in the beginning, like us being on the same page. So like one of the, do you want to start talking about going into it, knowing what you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
The notes are just there.
Should I tell the pickle story?
Let's tell the pickle story.
Okay. So I used to teach youth in our church. We used to be youth leaders. And I really like analogies, right? They really help me understand different concepts and stuff. So I'm always making up different analogies that help me understand. And so this story / analogy that I came up with was about dating. And, so I call it the pickle story. And basically, like, two people get together. This happens so much in our relationships. I see it so often, where two people get together and on the first date, they go and get sandwiches. And let's say Mark loves pickles. He loves pickles. And I don't like pickles at all. But I'm trying to make a good impression. I'm trying to, be the nice, cute girl, not with issue or having problems or anything, or complaining or something. So I say, oh, I like pickles too. But really, I don't like pickles at all. But you think it's such a small little tiny thing. Who cares about not like pickles? So it's such a small little thing. So let's say the first date goes great. We have like 4 dates, end up getting married. 10 years down the road, now I feel like it's too late to say anything about me actually not liking pickles. So I continue to kind of hide that. But what's happening is that I'm building up this resentment against these pickles and against my husband because I'm not being truthful. And so 15, 20 years down the road, he goes, hey, babe, bring me the pickles. And I just blow up because I'm done. I can't do pickles anymore. I can't do my husband anymore. Done. And the husband's so confused, and I'm just done. And it's something that builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and then explodes. And so that's such a small little example, but people do it every day, all the time, multiple things with multiple subjects, just to not create conflict. But by doing that, you actually end up creating conflict because you're not being truthful with yourself and creating this resentment against the person that's doing the thing you don't like, but that person doesn't know that. So it's something that I think causes a lot of issues with different relationships and marriages, where people are not 100% truthful with each other in order to try and make it work.
Yeah.
Where you shouldn't do that. You should just be 100% honest.
And I think it's important to, when speaking with men and coaching them and mentoring men, that is something that I value. It's a strong value that I have for myself, that I practice, and that is being truthful and being honest, being authentic, and living your life. There's this in the manosphere. There is this term of a certain type of a man. It's called MGTOW. It's men going their own way, and it's men saying we're not going to marry, we're not going to have kids, and we're going to be celibate when we want to be celibate, and then we're going to date when they want to date, but it's always on their terms. And I find that there's an element of that all men should have, right? Because one of the things that I teach is that man being on his purpose. So that man is on his purpose so much that at the beginning of the relationship, in the middle of the relationship, or maybe at the end of that relationship, he is going to be honest, right? So being able to, because what happens is that we are afraid. We might, if I say I don't like pickles, you might be like, well, I don't know if I can be with this guy. And pickles can be represented in whatever, right? You can apply literally whatever you want to pickles, and there can be multiple types of pickles, and or multiple types of things that you want to talk about, right? So you want to talk about these things, and then it's like, oh, I don't want them to not like me. Like, I like this person, but you know what I mean? So we fudge it almost. We kind of trip ourselves. I don't know what that's called, putting the cart before or putting our foot in our mouth. I don't know. Like we trip ourselves up.
Yeah.
Right. We shoot ourselves in the foot because we're like, I am not going to miss this opportunity because this person's gorgeous. I just love this person already. I like this person. I don't want to mess it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, I have
Yeah, yeah.
it's just happened. So Mark is a night owl, and I'm not. So I'm usually in bed way before he is. And I know. So he usually stays up late and watches shows or his phone or whatever. And I'm the kind of person that needs it to be dark and to be quiet or to sleep. And so most of the time he is out in the living room watching TV, so it doesn't bother me at all. But there are times when he'll come into the room, and we did at one time have.
Record.
Oh, nice. There was one time, or at one time we did have a TV in our room, so there was times where he would turn the TV on or whatever, and I didn't like that he was watching TV because it was bothering me. I couldn't sleep. But I didn't want to say anything because I liked that he was in the room. Like that you were in the room with me. I liked that you were laying in bed with me. But I didn't like that you were watching TV. And so I let it go for a little while. And then I finally was like, all right, this is my pickle story. Like, I've never told you this before. And this literally was like a few months ago. And that I've never told you this before, but I really actually don't like you watching TV while I'm trying to sleep because all my brain does is listen to whatever I'm hearing instead of sleeping. And so I had to be like, sorry, babe, I love you, but so like even that, 16 years in, we're still discovering that talked about.
It's so true.
We try to, but I think life just happens fast, and you don't want to upset the other person, and so you just have to go along with it.
You don't want to upset the other person, and you're so invested in that relationship. And it's so funny because we've created space for ourselves for a lot of things that are extremely challenging, a lot bigger than watching TV in the bed. And recently, a couple things that we've done recently that I think are crucial that work for us is having a family meeting, right? So that's all the family, but then having our meeting. So Mondays we kind of meet, we hang out. I don't know exactly what we call that, if there's a name for that. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But Tuesday is our wind down time. The Tuesday?
Yeah.
And our wind down time is basically, it does have wine in there, glass of wine or whatever. It doesn't have to be wine. It could be whatever you want. But it's our opportunity to kind of sit down with each other and reconnect again. And that time could be going over kind of whatever. Maybe sometimes it's going over the calendar, right? Or budget or whatever. If you forgot something during the day, just a check-in time for each other. And then Wednesday is hump day, where we recognize the intimacy part of the marriage, and we kind of intentionally have something going on. We just started this 3 weeks ago. So hump day is, we don't necessarily have to be humping or whatever, but we have intimate time, right? So we have intimate time. We have time where maybe it's a massage or something like that. So building that and working that in to the situation, and those little things work, but the guy has to the men. Tresho9 and for me, my personality, my authenticity is I'm pro man. I am pro man.
Me too.
And I do believe that not necessarily like the man goes his own way, but he's got to be on his purpose, right? Like I was saying. And so, what does that look like? That looks like he is, if he's connected to God, right? He's got to be connected to a higher power source, and that source, that power, comes before the wife, which gives him the power to be able to give her what she wants, right? The things that she needs, the security, the love, the respect, all of those things.
Yeah.
Right? All of those things. Because he's so invested into this idea and this truth that I'm gonna live my purpose. Right? Which gives him that confidence. And Tresho9 is part of that. Like it's part of that purpose. Because when I started this, it was I want to help men because I needed help. I'm always for the underdog, always for the underdog. The guy who's just wants to be in love and wants to make it work, but just is clueless, literally clueless. Um, because I believe there's answers out there and there's things out there, and I live my way through. I read a lot, but really it's just a couple books. It's the Bible and then the Way of the Master. Um, the way I'm sorry, the Way of the Superior Man. The Bible way. The Way of the Superior Man um, is gosh, there's two. It changed my life. Like it changed it changed me, but then it changed the way that, like I was just saying this off air, where um where I was saying that, if we were fighting, one of the things it says is, hey, you have to switch it up as a guy. Switch it up, dude. Like you can't go to that level at that moment. You go in there and you just look at her and high five, high five, high five. And you may spin her around, slap the butt, you know what I mean? And then walk away. Don't look back though. Just walk away. See? And then that happens right there. Because she's gonna be like, I'm mad, but what was that? What was that? Now I'm confused. Now she's in her head thinking, like, he's not mad. Okay, well, how did he get out of this? How did he work his way out of this particular anger or whatever? You know what I mean? Why isn't he? Does he want to talk about it? I do want to talk about it, but I needed you to get that quick hit of dopamine, if you will, to say, hey, look, I still love you. I created a space to say I still love you. I still look at you in a sexy way. I still uh, see you attractive. You know what I mean? I do, and so
Yeah,
yeah,
too, like in the growth that you do yourself and as you learn these different techniques and whatnot that the book taught you, it's like it made me have to look at myself. Because if you're changing your attitude and kind of like, and I'm holding that grudge and like that's on me then, that's me being immature and um it's just me being immature. So it made me have to look inside of myself. Okay, let's check this emotion and it makes you check yourself. It made me check myself. How can I change to meet what him?
That's good.
I don't want to be left behind. So either I'm gonna be left behind, back here mad, or I'm gonna run after him.
And that is something that is challenging for women today, I think. Because they want to be wifey to do that. And then, but they're in these long relationships for like 10, 20 years or whatever, but they're not wifey, so they're not gonna act like that. It doesn't make any sense. I've heard it before. It makes zero sense to me. And that is something that we have our marriage, I would say today is so solid, right? It's not perfect because we make lots of mistakes. I make, and I think maybe I make the most. I'm not quite sure, um, because that's how I learn. I learn by mistake. That's the thing. So I'm just like, hope she never wants to leave me. Like, I'm gonna fuck this up right now. Here we go. You know what I mean? Like, here, this might work. This might not work. I don't know. Uh, how about this? And I think because of trial, error, and victory, and failure, and us really fucking authentic. That's like for real, for real, for real. Like for real, for real. Like, and it's tough. It's tough to be like, shit, I said this, but I want to take it back. You know what I mean? Like, how do I do that? How do I have that conversation? Because I was all for it. And then how do I, you know what I mean? And so we've had that conversation with certain things. And so we live our life and our relationship in such a way that we are serving each other. That's kind of how I think about that. Like I believe on without a shadow of a doubt that it's about I am to serve you, right? So it's this submissive dominant thing that we do have going on. I'm still learning, you're still learning about it, but it's not a whip and a ball and chain unless you're into that. But that's only play. But seriously, sorry, it is about uh, this service, right? So because we talked about it today, as we were texting back and forth, and it's when you feel, it's when the woman feel like the meme that you showed me, the reel that you showed me, is the more comfortable the woman feels, the more secure she feels, and the guys are gonna love this one, the naughtier she's going to be. And you know, guys are like, well, let me go back to I've heard girls say like, why do guys they want me to be like this porn star? I can't do that. Blah 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 blah. You got to work your way into certain things, and everything can't be done, and everything shouldn't be done. Right? There's things out there that should not be done. Right? We run an actual real home over here, so these have kids everywhere. It's so amazing. We love it. Yeah, we love it. And so, um, in all of that, right? It sounds complicated, but really, it's very simple. It's extremely simple because I have to get to a point where it's like I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be rigid. And how I get out of that is through understanding, and it's through service. So it's through service. It's through understanding that um, I don't need to get mad because the dishes aren't done. I don't need to get mad because I come home and the house is crazy. Like that's what it is. Whoa, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And it's not. You have to hang that up as a guy. Get your standards straight. Have your standards and figure it out. Figure it out. And here's a pro tip that I heard from the submissive uh, community in, that are that are women. They said if the guy can create some sort of a schedule or some sort of like schedule and like duties and things to get done, happy to do it. Here you go. Like, cool. Now I know what to do. I don't have to think about it. I think that's the thing is like you don't have to think a lot. You do, but it's like when you don't want to, you don't have to make a decision. You know, um, and so I think that's pretty awesome. And relationships are really not that hard. They're just not because you sit here and you talk about what things that you want. I'm not going to stand. I don't stand. There's a few things I don't stand for. One of the things I don't stand for is talking bad about me in public. If you have something bad to say, right? Something rude or negative or whatever that is, you say it directly to me. Because telling 20 different women doesn't make sense at all. It's not logical. It doesn't make sense emotionally. It doesn't make sense at all to do that. And it's just another drug, right? There's a lot of women that may not smoke pot or drink, but their drug, which is equally worse or equally the same as marijuana or alcohol or whatever, is drama and gossip. Because that has destroyed relationships and ruined countries.
Sure.
It has brought countries to war. So tell me that's not a drug. And so when you understand that about me, because we've talked about that. That's just one of the things, right? And yeah, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's just that come to me because it would make me feel a lot safer. Also, it would make me feel more of a man because I'm like, shit, I actually want to change that. I actually want to. I need to. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that the same thing. Honestly, I wanted to change that about my life because I don't like that.
I don't think any of us want to be assholes, you know. Like, so there's obviously people in life that you point things out to them and they're, I'm not going to change them. But, okay, cool, go live your life out. But I would say most people want to live a good life, want to serve their husband or wife, love their husband or wife, have a good relationship. And if you want those things, then you gotta be open to it.
It's all good. You just go with it.
Yeah. Anyways, you just have to be open to the constructive criticism, whatever you're
exactly. Create that space.
Significant other is saying.
Yeah.
Don't take it as offense, but as a
right. Yeah, as a way to grow for sure. Most definitely. You guys taking off?
I just didn't want to watch the very long.
Okay.
I didn't bring my tablet.
They need to change that too.
No, it's okay. I don't want to.
You can make them.
Yeah, we force them. Because they're even lucky that they're even on the screens right now. They're like, we're on screens and no one's watching us. No one's monitoring us. Yeah, we serve each other in different yeah, I don't know what I wrote there. In different ways. Male and female energies, right? There's different energies that we have. And we believe in male and female energies. We believe that we're different. We're not the same. Yeah, we're definitely not the same. We're totally different. I think as we're humans, we're the same as humans. Like we like respect, we like love, and we give each other those things, right? We don't deny those things. We're not rude to each other, right? We're not vindictive, you know. I'm not out there slandering your name, right? I'm only speaking things that will lift you up and encourage you, and yeah. So that is extremely crucial. One of the things I wrote here is when you have these different polarities, but then you're trying to like, you know, you're trying to be masculine, and then I'm trying to be more feminine, and it just doesn't work. She's like, no. And it also has to do with your wife. Like it has to do with your spouse. I personally, I married a woman who she just likes a man's man, you know, rough hands, you know, and she still loves cuddles. She loves cuddles. I call her the pussy cat because she is just like ready for cuddles at all times. But you create this resistance and conflict, you know, when you don't have those polarities, when you don't have that that balance, and you have resistance and you have conflict. And then you have conflict and you have bitterness, and you have bitterness that turns into hate. And you just you miss all that, because if you have kids, here we're living our real life. You know, you see a washer and dryer back there.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's usually running, I feel like 24/7. There's 6 people
Our neighbors do.
right now. Yeah.
We
We
share
have
clock.
we live on a compound of how many kids are there total? 10 kids. 5 adults.
Yeah,
5 adults. All of us have friends. You know, they're here all the time.
yeah,
You know, and so it's very busy. So we have to communicate, and that's huge. And communication is the key. And when I say the key of relationships, it's the key. Um, I wrote some other stuff down, but I don't know if I want to go into it. But and I think we might actually wrap this up. We're going in conclusion on this. And you're sleeping. I can feel it. I can feel her energy. Yeah, I can feel her energy. So we won't go too long. But thank you for tuning in, Tresho9. Some closing comments. Just, you know, we appreciate you, and know that uh, you can always reach out to us if you have any comments or questions around this topic. We're going to be, Tresho9 is done at least once a week, usually the weekend. So it's either a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You can tune in with us. Instagram is at Tresho9, and you can check us out there. The closing statement would be that, you know, for women that want to be in a relationship, I understand there's a lot of trauma out there that is happening and it has happened in your life, but there is a when you get with a man that knows what he's doing, it's different. It's just different. You know what I mean? And so I coach around that. I have my friend Gabe is here. He coaches around that as well. We were going to bring him on, but we're going to be ending here and wrapping things up. But we're going to have more to talk about. I didn't finish all my notes here, but it's pretty juicy stuff that I got going on here. I want to talk about. But until then, we'll see you next Friday, hopefully. Actually, no, because we'll be going to Hana, and we'll be doing some outreach and camping as a family out there. It's going to be super fun. And so thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking us out. We'll see you later. Bye. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace
Shout
out.
out.